Loving those new intros myself. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to No More News. I am Adam Green. Thank you for joining me today, Thursday, June 4th, 2026. Starting a little later than usual, was watching the girls. But there's tons of stuff to cover today. Candace gives her Russia Shill tour speech at the big Russia conference. Going to be discussing the narrative from RT in this Russia sphere about quote-unquote Satanic America. And demons have been excommunicated. The priest that says the UFOs are demons has been kicked out of his church. We're going to get into that, as well as a bunch of other stuff. Only made possible thanks to you guys and your support. powerchat.live/knowmorenews. Pinned to the top of the comments where we're live streaming on Rumble and Odysee, Kick, BitChute, X. Hopefully YouTube soon as well. Need to get back on more attempts on YouTube for sure. But the power chat has been turned on. We smashed the goal yesterday. Let's do it again today. Okay. First, Candace Owens with Rick Sanchez, who has a show on RT. He was the one that got kicked out, banned, or fired from CNN for criticizing Israel at one point.
It's like watching.
Remember, too, Candace played it off before she went. She's like, she's going to Russia. She's going on a vacation to see the Christian churches, the architecture of the Christian churches. And no, she's going to this big, like the Davos of Russia. Like she's the queen of America, the queen trader of America.
How did you get to this place? I mean, the more I read about you, the more fascinated I am. I mean, you worked with Charlie Kirk. You worked you were in alternative media, but then you branched off. I think they got rid of you the way they got rid of me. Mm-hmm. How did you get to this place?
Well, just by living it. So it's very easy for me.
How did she get here? I blame Alex Jones, Dennis Prager, Ben Shapiro for making Candace. That's who I blame. And it really all started with Ethan Ralph. Everybody knows that lore, right? Ethan Ralph's fault. The first domino to fall, Ethan Ralph in the kill stream for Candace.
Steps that they're lying when they lie about me. Yeah. Every single article that is written about me it's fiction. I don't even respond really. I always respond with humor. Or I kind of make fun of them when they ask questions now. Yeah. I don't take them seriously enough to dignify half the things that they're saying with a response. That's a great place to be. It's like watching a cartoon. I tell them, write what to your heart's content, right?
Yeah.
Big Tech is trying to, my friend Big Tech, the streamer, is trying to help me set up some AI agent that's able to go through all my archive of saved recorded streams and transcribe it all so I can search Candace, and then it'll show me every video I talked about Candace and the timestamp, and I can go watch, because I can guarantee you I've been saying Candace's rhetoric is all Russia controlled op slop sphere since very early on, probably going back years. I need that archive searchable by transcript. Why is that not a thing already? Why do I not have that? Could you imagine if I could search all my old videos? Be amazing for making clips too, and for looking for receipts.
Do it as a creative writing exercise, because you guys have no interest in what the truth is. It would have sufficed to just say Candace.
Yeah, all the predictions of me making about Trump getting back in office too.
Going to Russia on a family vacation, and while she's there, she's going to be speaking on the topic of family at SPEEF.
Yeah.
Oh, just speaking of family at SPEEF, like you're at the pro-Russia conference, trying to stop funding to Ukraine to defend themselves from the Russian invasion, and that America's satanic and demonic. Oh, I'm just going to say pro-family things. Come on, you're a Russian hack, Candace.
Just say Candace is going to Russia on a family vacation, and while she's there, she's going to be speaking on the topic of family at SPEEF.
Yeah.
They just can't do it. They fall short every single time, and it becomes like the mythology behind.
Yeah, she calls it a vacation. You're going on a business trip. You're going to go do a media appearance. This is not a family vacation. You're turning your work going to be a Russia shill into a vacation for your family. That's what's happening. And we all recognize this. And she thinks everybody's stupid. She thinks this is going to work. This vacation line. Andrew Tate went also. I believe Scott Ritter's over there at the event too. I haven't checked to see if Dugan was there yet. Chat, do you know if Dugan was there in the chat?
I
haven't seen any of that.
Even though last week they were saying I was funded by Iran, the week before that I was funded by Qatar,
Right.
absent any proof. Again, they don't have to articulate, they don't have to show any proof. They just have to say it, and I think it's going to be enough.
No, I've been saying when people say Qatar or Muslim money, I always go, what about Russia? Yeah, we need a Dugan check.
Even though it has been proven time and time again that's not enough, and that it's only catalyzing their demise, they just can't learn a new trick.
I love how she's over on RT, glazing Russia, shitting on Ukraine and America, and she's like, "You're going to need better tricks than to call me a Russia shill. Call me a Russia useful idiot." She tweeted an image of her. I'll pull it up. She tweeted an image of her. It's so narcissistic, where she is like surrounded by Russians with microphones at the event, and she's like, "Amazing moment." Let's see. Where is it? There. What a moment. What a moment. I'm such a big deal. Like literally the Queen of America. They love me in Russia. Pretty crazy. Okay. We got a few more clips from this Rick Sanchez interview.
I think you posted something this morning. I didn't get a chance to look at it all, but I think you'd mentioned something about that there's some tie between charges from Israel that they're somehow trying to tie anti-Semitism to Russia.
Right. It was actually just on the way over here. One of my followers sent it. We had been covering this FARA filing from a company called Clock Tower LLC, Clock Tower X LLC. And they are, they filed for FARA. They're not pretending that they're not foreign agents. It's directly from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Israel that is controlling this organization. And they are explicit in their filings that this is about propaganda targeting American Christians and how we're going to go around and create the October 7th experience. Here are people that we deem problematic. And I had missed in this document. They explicitly stated, mind you, this was filed before I had any plans to come to Russia, that they were going to conquer their focus anti-Semitism by basically alleging that anti-Semitism comes from Russia, which, by the way, I will appreciate the irony. I'm pretty sure that the first country
Russia and RT
was Russia.
Sorry. Russia and RT is boosting the specific anti-Semitism that portrays America always within the Judeo paradigm as satanic, demonic, antichrist, or Baal worshipers, or secret Satan worshipers, which it just aligns with the rabbis in Kabbalah that the Edom is satanic, and keeping the opposition conspiracy, kookery, and discredited. Flat earther, like Candace, flat earther and evolution denier, dinosaur deniers. And so the low IQ Christian controlled op, Christian Muslim alliance, Judeo opposition, that's what's promoted through Russia, through bot farms, through their influencers, from George Galloway to Jackson Hinkle to, on and on and on. The list is so long I don't even want to get started. Scott Ritter, Candace, some more we'll show today.
Yes.
So this is
yeah.
we definitely,
but we're not allowed to know that.
We're not allowed to know that. But so that was interesting, and so they explicitly mentioned me and mentioned Tucker Carlson and saying that we were susceptible to Russian narratives. I mean, at least with Tucker, he had interviewed Vladimir Putin, something I would love to do in the interest of learning more. But with me,
they're either willing or useful idiots that are willing to regurgitate the narratives that Russia finds beneficial for their propaganda war against the West. And they boost the people, they weaponize the retards like Candace and boost you up and all your kookery which ultimately just plays into the hands of Israel and the Zionists in America because you're such retards and so discredited. Perfect controlled op setup, keeping it within the Judeo paradigm, where the anti-Semite is discredited and scoffed at.
I was like, how are you saying this? Like, I got this by watching the actions of our government, our perspectives on Zionism, and which they're now pretending is anti-Semitism more broadly, as if we hate Jewish people. Our perspectives on Israel have been shaped by Israel. And when you read through these docs and how they plan to effectively brainwash and propagandize Americans, it doesn't make us feel more compelled to support Israel. So they just...
Because Russia's not doing... They don't have any propaganda agents trying to demoralize and cause chaos and promote things, their ideological subversion. Only America does propaganda. Russia, Putin, never, according to these people.
Perspectives on Israel have been shaped by Israel. And when you read through these docs and how they plan to effectively brainwash and propagandize Americans.
Yeah, they promote Khazar theory. That's a common thread.
Compelled to support Israel. So they just cannot see themselves.
Zionism is not Judaism. They always do that one as well. And Khazar theory.
In this moment. And so rather than dealing with the issue in an honest way, they just blame Russia, which they do like every year.
On everything.
On every topic.
All right, brought to you by Russia. Now here's where the arguments get really retarded. Thank you, Meredith.
Viking Cat and Dog Food Fund.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Well needed. All right.
It is to treat for me, I am just in the business of observing, being rational about what I am observing. I want for my country nationalism. That is what I want for America. Yeah. That is what I want America to actually come first. And it is positively impossible to sit here and to blame the shifting perspectives in America on our own government, the sentiment that Americans hold, to then be so arrogant as to say, well, that's because of Russian propaganda. As if Americans can read Cyrillic, speak Russian. Right. This is all happening because of Russian propaganda.
Yeah. Wow. Because they wouldn't be doing the propaganda for the West in English and in their languages. She's like, Russian propaganda? Americans don't even speak Russian. Good one, Candace. Great logic. Real detective work there. Yeah, RT English. They're on RT English, like, Americans don't even speak Russian. Russian propaganda? Wow, they are not sending their best.
Arrogant as to say, well, that's because of Russian propaganda. As if Americans can read Cyrillic.
No, Americans recognizing like Zionist influence in America is not because of Russia propaganda. The Russia propaganda is controlled and siphoned into and botted and like so much of the anti-Zionist movement in the media and in the West is dominated by RT, like pro-Russia sphere people. That's the paradigm. That's the dichotomy. She apparently went from working for the Jewish Zionist Christians to the Russian Jewish Zionists and Christians, basically, if you get real.
Speak Russian. Right. This is all happening because of Russian propaganda. Yeah. It is to treat the Americans.
Yeah, you are Russian propaganda, Candace. That's why you're welcome to their big conference and into their country. If you were critical of Putin in Russia, if she was pro-Ukraine, you think they would let you into the country? The gaslighting of this, it's crazy.
We are toddlers. And that is
gaslighting us like we're toddlers. Like, this isn't all Russia propaganda right here, and you're either witting or unwitting useful idiot.
Not a good idea. It is not serving them. They should stop doing it. For me, I am just in the business of observing.
Dude, observing. I'm just like going off my vibes and observing, and my wine mom tip line. Of course, she does, again, the Brigitte Macron. That's where I definitely mentioned the Russia thing, is talking about her and the Macron lawsuit. Putin in Russia are opposed to Macron. He's supporting Ukraine a bunch. Candace Owens again claims Bridget Macron is a man in identity.
Said that she's a man.
You have also been in the news, and this is a very important subject here, because you've been very critical of Brigitte Macron and
like Dugan loves and glazes Candace on the timeline on Twitter, and says like her and Tucker and Alex Jones and Jackson Hinkle are all like the real MAGA.
Emmanuel Macron, and your segments on that were impossible to not watch because the research was fantastic. The points you made were illustrative and somewhat almost scandalous.
Oh, it's a scandal. There's no question about it.
Are you convinced to this day?
1,010%. Made only more convinced by the lawsuit, which
1,010%. Okay.
is not
Why not make it 1,010% while we're at it?
about whether or not Brigitte is a man or a woman. It was just a PR effort, and people assumed, oh, Brigitte must be suing because Candace said that she's a man. No.
Yeah.
Nope. Suing on a technicality because I said that Brigitte stole her brother's ID, and that's accusing her of being a thief.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I don't know if I can believe this at all.
And that has been the tradition of all of the lawsuits internally inside of France, is to never sue based or pursue anything based on the substance, but to control the media apparatus so that the public thinks that they're suing on the substance and it proves that it's just not true. It's exactly the opposite. Common sense. I don't know who was advising them. A sitting president of a foreign country suing a podcaster in another country shows that there is something very true about the claims that are
No,
being
it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Dude, this type of logic that like somebody being mad if you defame them means they're guilty is so retarded. So I could accuse you of anything. You could say that's defamation. And that means, well, I guess I'm right then. Come on, dude. She is so, I cannot stand how crazy kooky Candace. Ooh, never thought about that one? Oh, that's probably all a lie, too. She said she wasn't a woman. She probably lost that lawsuit, too. Because I know First Lady of France submitted, like, evidence that she was a woman. Screenshot that. No, I never want to see that again. All right, here's her. Oh, my big plot has been revealed. I colluded with Russia to encourage big Christian families everywhere. Yeah, I'm sure that's all it was. That's all it was. That's all you did. You're not doing nothing else.
Society. I think at times there has been some conflict between governments and thinking that maybe you don't want that messaging to come out. Maybe they think, oh, we don't want people at home with.
I think she's being sued by some of the people in the Charlie Kirk assassination also. I've been saying for a long time, I hope they shut it down. She is a detriment to the cause.
Big families, that's not going to help. And I couldn't disagree with that perspective more. Governments and institutions should encourage big families because it encourages better people, people that build with purpose, and people.
The girl that like mispronounces every word, including Moscow. She calls it Moscow. Hold on, we got to find that. Pronounces every word wrong. Every word over like 3 syllables, she gets it wrong. So many, it's unbelievable how many words she mispronounces.
Nurture with purpose. And so it really has been a blessing to hear about, I guess, to hear more intimately about what's going on in Russia in terms of those policies that are being put into place to encourage big families. And I truly believe that any nation that supports that sort of a dynamic, whether it's in the West and the East, or hopefully both, Eastern and the Western Hemisphere, we will have a much more fruitful and productive society. I think at times there has been.
Brave take. Because, there's no Republicans in America that are like, have big Christian families. There's no white American Christians that ever say that. That never happens. JP Sears says, to be fair, Christianity and big families are kind of treasonous against the United States. Are any of our politicians saying big Christian families is treason? Or why are we pretending like our government, and whenever the Christians are in power especially, the Republicans are in power especially, they're shoving Jesus and the Bible down our throats? And these guys like J.P. Sears, the Zionist leaders that Israel had democratically elected, for us don't like that either. As if all the big Zionists in our Zionist administration isn't promoting Jesus and Christianity all the time. Yeah, they're totally against Christianity, dude. That's it. Nothing they fear more, JP. He's a clown. He's getting everything wrong. Oh, Candace is just saying have big Christian families, and everybody's so mad. That doesn't make her a Russian agent. And she's also over here saying funding to Ukraine needs to be cut.
A lot of conversation I've been having on my podcast.
Hey, stop funding the nation that Russia wanted to invade and annex. Oh, she's just promoting families. No, she's over there telling to stop the funding against the war that Putin is in. Oh, not a Russian agent, though.
A lot of conversation I've been having on my podcast, and Americans are really getting tired of funding, not knowing where money is going, learning that oligarchs are buying yachts. So we think about it at a practical level in terms of our taxes and where our money is going, which is never quite.
Yeah, there's no oligarchs in Russia with yachts, though, all right? There wasn't always oligarchs in Ukraine with yachts. No, we can't support Ukraine against their invasion from Russia because there's some billionaires over there. Yeah, she's promoting Dugin's isolationism. Exactly. And that's the word she also can't pronounce. We're going to play here in a second.
Explained, but beyond that, we're trying to focus on a lot of home issues.
See, focus on home issues. Defund Putin's opposition so they can succeed in their invasion of Ukraine and annex the Ukrainian territories. Right? That's what this is about. Here's the Moscow. She can't pronounce Moscow. She can't pronounce isolationism.
And in our minds.
But I was in Moscow, and Moscow was positive.
Has anybody ever heard Moscow? Am I wrong? And that's like the Russian way to do it, and I'm doing it wrong. I've always heard Moscow. Moscow.
Positively stunning. But I was in Moscow, and Moscow was positively stunning. It defied.
In true Candace fashion, she mispronounces Moscow. Great.
I didn't really have an expectation. But I was in Moscow, and Moscow was positively stunning.
Moscow's normal.
I didn't really have any expectations.
Has she promoted leaving NATO yet? I would assume that is closer than the Russian way. Yeah, I figured maybe.
But if I had any, they would have been defied by just how clean, how safe, how beautiful, how historic the city is. I wish I had spent more time, to be honest with you.
Its beauty magnifies the frustration that we as Americans bring in our hearts and in our minds.
Hold on. Nobody was ever pretending that like Russia didn't have some beautiful areas or a rich history or some magnificent churches. Nobody ever pretended that. That was never the issue. It's not like Russia bad because they don't have churches or any clean cities. That was never the conflict. Moskva in Russian, promoting isolationism. Yeah.
Is the frustration that we as Americans bring in our hearts and in our minds, which we've been programmed to think, isn't it? I mean,
I totally agree with you. Frustration is the right word because I was experiencing that.
Has anybody been programmed and conditioned to think that Russia doesn't have those cool looking, weird like carnival circus looking church buildings in the Kremlin? Like we've seen the nice pictures of downtown St. Petersburg and Moscow. We've seen them. I don't get what this is like. Oh, it's such like low tier propaganda. Like, hey, Goyim, hey, Western trad cats, look at all of our beautiful cities and churches and our trad Christian ethno state they try to portray.
Where I was asking myself, why? Like, why can't we be told that this is a lovely, beautiful, safe city? Especially as a Christian, I think that frustration is magnified because there's so much wonderful Christian heritage in Moscow, and it's beautiful for us to be able to see it. But I was in Moscow, and Moscow was
All right. Providing, she calls it isolationalist. She adds a syllable in.
I don't want you to make friends. I don't want you to make friends. I want a person who's going to be out there.
Yeah, I was going to say, good part, Ben and G. Except a couple of nice cities, a lot of the rest of it is definitely some shitholes. I agree. But I mean, so is America. So is a lot of Europe. Mostly because of mass immigration.
Saying, we're going isolationalist, okay? I don't care about women marching in the streets, so that all of our politicians just oblige them. And yeah, so if we're gonna do it, like if we're gonna do the thing and we're gonna say we're not gonna be isolationists.
Isolationalist? That's so funny. She always does this. She can't even get her Dugin talking points right. Hold on, where is it? Dugin promoted America to be isolationalist in his 4th political theory book. Here's the quote. It is especially important to introduce geopolitical disorder into internal American activity, encouraging all kinds of separatism and ethnic, social, and racial conflicts, actively supporting all dissident movements and extremist, racist, and sectarian groups. And I like to add kooky conspiratard slop, thus destabilizing internal political processes in the U.S. It would also make sense simultaneously to support isolationist tendencies in American politics. And that translated in American with Candace to isolationalist. There's the Dugin quote from 4th Political Theory, or Foundations of Geopolitics, actually.
About women marching in the streets, so that all of our politicians just oblige them. And yeah, so if we're going to do it, like if we're going to do the thing and we're going to say we're not going to be isolationists, a lot of Americans feel depressed by that because we're just going, when are we allowed to just be isolationalists, right? When are we allowed to focus on what's happening here?
That one sounded a little closer.
Be isolationalists, be isolationalist.
Isolationalist. Dude, whenever she mispronounces a word, it makes it harder for me to say it the right way. Dude, she has a team. She has editors. How are people allowing her to continue making these pronunciation mistakes over and over again? It's like she doesn't even know what the word is and never actually heard it before, and she's just reading it, her Dugin script off the teleprompter. Crazy.
By basically alleging that anti-Semitism comes from Russia.
You heard that one. Here's her husband, George Farmer, the Lord, the British Lord.
Наше государство с некоторых пор взял эти условия.
It's so funny that she was like boosted up and she was like the poster girl for like the black Republican or the black Israel supporter, and now the black Russia shill, and like she's supposed to be like the most eloquent one, and she still pronounces like every single big word incorrectly. It's just amazing.
Если есть ценности, то семье воспитывать будет сложно. Если
Expectations, I would say, especially in Russia, it's been absolutely beautiful, wonderful, defied all of my expectations. I would say, especially with my
Dude,
first time.
Candace goes to Russia and just gets brutally frame-mogged by some Russian beauty queen. No, like some average McDonald's worker at Russia just gets brutally mogged. She's gonna hate her forever, like Erica.
In Russia, it's been absolutely beautiful, wonderful, defied all of my expectations. I would say, especially within the government institution, public schools, you saw this sort of messaging when I was growing up that you cannot have both. You have a new age form of enslavement. And in this book, we do success, well, what is success? And in one chapter, I sort of...
The suit is sick too, yeah.
Who is the most successful man in the world? By and large, what's going on in Russia, what's going on in America, that there are no similarities.
Dude, so like people have been saying forever, is her shit all botted by Russia? Is she completely botted? Or is this whole network of the pro-Russia sphere heavily botted with Russian bots and boosted up to control and monopolize the opposition to Israel? You bet your ass it is. She's popping her collar on Candace hard, yeah.
Trip has revealed to me just how similar.
А тем не менее, давайте придерживаться тайминга. Такова жизнь.
I think there's a lot of conversation I've been having on my podcast, and Americans are really getting tired of funding, not knowing where money is going, learning that oligarchs are buying yachts. So we think about it at a practical level in terms of our taxes and where
our funding's clearly going to military assistance. Otherwise, why hasn't Russia won? If the money's just all going to the oligarchs and it's all a big scam, then why isn't Russia won already? Good question, right? Why is Russia so desperate to stop all the aid if the aid isn't going to stop their invasion of Ukraine? Candace? Isolationalist. Yeah. I don't know why the power chat's not playing. I saw it come on and it's not playing. Ooh, I can't handle the full appearance. It's 12 minutes. But I'm wondering, like, did I miss some multipolar or NATO? Oh, and it's translated. Or satanic. Does she call America satanic at all? Goy. Thought I heard goy. All right, I'm just going to assume that all the important clips got found. I want to take back America from Russia. God families, we heard that. Okay, here's the RT interview talking about Charlie Kirk now.
Was it simply coincidental that after Charlie Kirk started being critical of Israel and some very prominent representatives of Israel in the United States?
Yeah, I'm an isolationalist nationalist.
Met with him. Soon after that, he perished.
You know, something that I like to do is just play common sense games. You know, why do you think it was that Vladimir Putin did not feel the need to issue a statement within 48 hours and say, I did not kill Charlie Kirk? What an unusual thing to feel the need to do.
Are we really doing this? They're still doing this? Everybody on the internet immediately was saying Israel killed Charlie Kirk. That's why the reporter asked him, Netanyahu, the question. Dude, how retarded are these people? As soon as Charlie Kirk came out, he was dead. I remember her friend Ian Carroll was like, well, the internet already figured out Israel did it. This is beyond stupid. It's the same logic as before, too. If somebody defames you, if you defame somebody and they want to sue you, then that means they're guilty. So now if you accuse somebody and they say, we had nothing to do with it, that also is suspicious and means you're guilty. Dude, this is so unbelievably stupid. Israel couldn't ask for a more stupid opposition than this. Is that not a fact? Yeah, that's right. She doesn't know how to play chess, but she's a chess master. That's a direct quote from Candace, from Kooky Candace.
What I like to do is just play common sense games. You know, why do you think it was that Vladimir Putin did not feel the need to issue a statement within 48 hours and say, I did not kill Charlie Kirk? What an unusual thing to feel the need to do.
Nobody accused Putin of doing it. I can't believe this is her go-to argument. She's like, common sense. Common sense is that everybody was blaming Netanyahu. And then a reporter asked him, what do you think about Charlie Kirk? Everybody's blaming you for it. That's why he put out a statement, Candace. Her IQ, it's low. It's definitely low. The inmates are running the asylum.
Netanyahu.
Yeah, to come out on the news and to explicitly state that you did not kill someone.
Yeah.
That seems a bit strange, right?
Yeah. And Netanyahu did that.
Quite a busy guy to do that.
Yeah.
To be the person who tweeted that he was dead before.
Yeah, busy doing media appearances and getting questions asked by journalists. Yes, which is what happened when they asked him about that. The biggest news, Charlie Kirk was their top goy. He had just, Charlie Kirk just sent Netanyahu a letter calling him like his servant or something a few months before.
The President of the United States, that
Right.
seems a bit involved. But, you know, we'd be veering toward conspiracy, to note these very strange actions that the state of Israel took, the posting of the AI flag of Charlie holding, that was all quite bizarre. It was almost as if to say, obviously don't look here. And then, of course, the subsequent lies, which we were able to unpack, to demonstrate as people were insisting he never once moved 1 inch. And then it turns out, no, actually the night before he died, he tweeted.
Yeah.
I mean, he wrote to his close friends that he had abandoned the pro-Israel cause. So to me, there's never a reason to lie unless you are covering something up. That's not to me, that's common sense. Why do people lie? To cover up a truth. That is the only reason people ever.
So you accuse people of them, and then they say that's not true, and then you say they're lying? Great logic.
Lie. So the question is, what truth is being covered up about Charlie Kirk's death?
You tell us. What, Fort Huachuca meetings that didn't happen based off total charlatan fake eyewitness testimony? Or the Egyptian planes following Erica all around, also total bunk? The red flags was everybody accused Bibi said Bibi did it. And he said, no, they had nothing to do with it. That's preposterous. That's her red flag. Yeah, I think we're done with that. Now here they are talking about they want Tucker for president and Candace as the press secretary. Talk about a Camacho, President Camacho's press secretary. Yeah, let's have the girl that pronounces words wrong on a regular basis be the press secretary of the country. Great idea.
Let me ask you a very important question.
Yeah, let's let the girl that isn't sure that the earth is round be the press secretary of the United States. Great idea, RT.
Let me ask you a very important question, because you may have heard this, you may not have heard this, but there's a buzz out there in America that you would make a great next president of the
Nobody
United
is
States.
buzzing
I
that.
apologize for asking, but
No,
That
you're
is
fine.
crazy.
I always tell my listeners I'd never run for president. I'd only run for dictator because I'm not.
Nobody. No, I've never heard anybody say Candace for president. Not once. If whoever said that, let me know, because I want to mark them forever on my retard discredited list.
Dealing with Congress. I'm not dealing with lobbying.
Right.
I'm not dealing with any of this. I'm not dealing with Lindsey Graham calling for another war. I'm just going to be like, here's what we're doing and here's what we're not doing. So I tell them, vote for me if the terms are acceptable, that I will be dictator of the United States, and that is it.
So see, Lindsey Graham wants another war. I don't know if she's referring to Iran or Ukraine, but it's Russia that started the war when they invaded Ukraine, and we're supporting them against that invasion. That's the war, Candace. That's not Lindsey Graham starting a war with Russia. That's a war with Russia that Russia started, actually.
But in the short
President
run, I really
Candace.
don't have an interest in running for office because there is just too much inauthenticity. Also, the great letdown of Trump. I would be interested in strongly getting behind someone like Tucker Carlson, though.
Would you?
I would, and so I would love for him to run, and I would create the dynamic that me and Charlie had and run all over to help him get elected because he...
And Tucker was also very fond and friendly with Charlie Kirk.
He was,
Both of you
and to see him be one of the lone voices, I would also say Megyn Kelly, who told the truth about Charlie's shifting perspectives toward the end, just only further committed me to the, and he's also at a great place in his life. His children are older. I would gratefully get behind someone.
Are we really going to see that? Is that Nick's dark horse? She makes Kamala seem articulate. True. JP Sears again, too. All the pro-Russia sphere is sweeping hard. Look, Candace is in Russia. She's a foreign agent, says every Zionist commentator on their way to Israel. As if there couldn't be Zionist agents and also Russian agents. It's not only Zionists that recognize Russian influence in our media in the West and their anti-Western attitudes. Also, like, we're in a proxy war against Russia right now, not with Israel. Adam found it. What did I found? The bond of astral projection. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yo, let's give us a like and a thumbs up and a share and a power chat. Hear what you guys have to say about Candace. Yo, let's give... I feel like I'm taking crazy pills listening to Candace over in Russia right now, and I'm really mad I don't have the AI search capability to go see me early on. Soon as Candace did her feud and her parting ways with Daily Wire, I was probably already calling the Russia thing.
Give me 120.28. Who the would vote for Candace?
Shh, dude, Hunter's way better than Candace. I actually like Hunter, sorta. Why? How come the only one came through and none of the others are? That is really weird. It's like it's messed up or lagging or something.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
Every one of these low IQ Christian controlled op slop peddlers seems to be a Russia shill, like Stu Peters. Attention boomers, the Cold War ended 35 years ago. Things have changed since then. Russia is no longer your enemy and should be a natural ally. The U.S. is also now the international bad guy. See, lower your guard, don't oppose Russia, worship Russia, you're the bad guy. They all have this Duganist. The West is satanic Baal worshipers and Antichrist. Christian is trad Christian Russia. Check out this new clip of Putin crying about Nazism. Yeah. He calls Zelensky a Jew and then says, people are, I saw Stu share that too. And he was like, oh, look, Putin's so based. He called Zelensky a Jew. It's like, everybody knows Zelensky's a Jew. Zelensky openly says he's a Jew, like regularly. And then he goes, he's a Jew, but he's a Nazi. Does Stu Peter love that rhetoric?
2. What will we do? But you must understand the threat that the revival of Nazism poses for everyone.
He's worried about the revival of Nazism. And there's like weird Christian Nazis all over Twitter that glorify and worship Putin. And every day it's denazify and anti-Semitism. And he goes and visits the wall and has his Chabad rabbi. And Chabad has tons of power in Russia. He's got lots of backroom deals and connections with Netanyahu and Likud.
Weapons from Ukraine are crawling all over the world. That's a fact. We have flourishing corruption in Ukraine all throughout the system, deeply rooted in the country. But we see the revival of Nazism too. What will we do about it? But you must understand the threat.
Stu Peters, if you said the things you do in Russia, and if you did this anti-Russian stuff like you do anti-American stuff and interviewed subversives like Dugin, Putin would have you thrown in jail and poisoned. Trump's ballroom commissioner, Rodney Cook, seated next to Steven Seagal at Putin's propaganda event in St. Petersburg. Trump's ballroom commissioner? Building their like deep underground nuclear bunker drone base. A lot of military stuff going in my $1 billion ballroom. That is concerning. Glenn Greenwald, the Russia Shill network is in sweep mode. Oh yeah, Glenn Beck did a 10-minute thing about it too. I want to watch. Greenwald says, it's wild to watch MAGA now sound exactly like Rachel Maddow and Adam Schiff when talking about Russia. This like guilt by association because Maddow said something that means it's wrong. Glenn Beck was doing on Fox News like 20 years ago, doing whiteboard breakdowns of Dugin. Long before Maddow, probably. He says, Russian civilization has produced remarkable works of literature, science, religion, architecture, and politics. It's fascinating to visit. Talking to Russians is not sinister. She's doing more than just talking to Russians or visiting on a vacation. She's doing an anti-Western, pro-Russia propaganda media appearance. Like, stop gaslighting. That it is what it is.
Onto this.
Okay, let's hear.
And he did something really embarrassingly simple. All right, there is the Russian influence operation targeting Candace Owens and you. It's a story at glennbeck.com. The internet is absolutely on fire right now over the latest revelation that American podcaster Candace Owens has some undisclosed activities in Russia with known intelligence and propaganda operatives. Torch insiders have to tip the hat to you because you were critical in unearthing the truth about her visit, but Candace Owens' suspicious trip to Russia is not actually the story. Her trip is just proof of the real story. And I'm not going to reduce this into a conversation about, her or anything else. You can take that on your own time. I think the big story here is that one of the most...
Also, I like... Oh, can we have a little vindication? For all the turd worldist and Duganists and whatever they call them, these ziggers, whatever they call them these days, when we're pointing out all of this Russia propaganda and low IQ anti-Semitism and Christian Muslim controlled opposition promoted by people like Candace, and we say it's Russia sphere, it's Russia botted, and you go, oh, or we say it's Dugin influenced, and then she goes over and does a pro-Russia media appearance at their big conference. It's called We Were Right, and you guys were sweeping for obvious Russia propaganda.
Followed conservative voices in America, Candace Owens, told her audience that she was going on vacation to Russia, St. Petersburg, Orthodox cathedrals, little faith tourism with her husband. Great, nothing wrong with that. Then we started hearing things, and the insiders started showing some things that were not comfortable. We turned Ryan Morrow onto this, and he did something really embarrassingly simple. He just read the program, looked at the facts, followed the breadcrumbs, and read the program. And there she was. She was listed as a speaker at the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. That is SPIEF, S-P-I-E-F, SPIEF. This is the Kremlin's flagship event, and it's running this week, and this is the one where Vladimir Putin gives the keynote. Now she
literally told everybody she's going on a family vacation, and then she goes to their biggest event, Putin's biggest media event. That's crazy gaslighting, crazy lying. It is completely vindicated, and whenever I call out the Russia sphere bullshit, all of the Russia sphere people start attacking me. I get a lot of attack from those folks and their bots. And they're useful idiots.
scroll down that same guest list and a few names down, you will also find a very dangerous man, a Russian philosopher named Alexander Dugin. She has now said she might meet with him, but she's speaking on the same stage as he is and Putin is.
Okay, he is there.
This whole thing, happens all the time. Spife. It's a hot spot for Russian intelligence. It's organized by the senior-most levels of the Russian government. Top advisors and the first deputy director of the FSB, which is the successor to the KGB, are on the organizing committee. Investigative documents now show that Spife's activity, specifically including...
If somebody in Russia defected and came to America and came to our event like this and exposed Russia and called Russia corrupt and evil and praised the West, do you think they would be able to fly back to Russia? What do you think Putin would do to them if they came back to Russia after doing all that? The equivalent of this the other way around.
Its panels are, quote, recruitment pipelines for state-directed soft power programs. Read that as propaganda. And it's where they, and I'm quoting, enlist foreign influencers in projects such as media partnerships. The files state that the panels particularly used for this purpose. Owens is on a panel filled with known Russian disinformation agents that are sanctioned by the U.S. and the EU. The story is what we found the second we started pulling the thread with Ryan Morrow, because the thread does not lead to Candace. It leads to someone else. A handful of really smart people spent an afternoon doing homework, and what they turned up wasn't gossip about, some podcaster vacation. It was a flare going up over one name, Alexander Dugin. And once you actually read who this man is, you understand why every alarm worth having started to ring. So let me introduce you to the most dangerous man you probably have never heard of or studied, unless you're a longtime listener of this program. They call Alexander Dugin Putin's brain. Putin's brain. He is the philosopher of the Modern Russia Project. He has been remarkably honest about the project and what it is. In 1997, before most of us had email, he published a book laying out how to defeat the United States of America without firing a shot. He wrote, Russia should encourage all kinds of separatism, ethnic, social, radical, and racial conflicts, and support isolationist tendencies in U.S. policies. Those circles who believe the U.S. should confine itself only to its domestic problems.
Thank you, Macrometer.
Sent $20 big brain Yaku bet look in Nibatrix Goyim and gets hella paid by an embargoed country.
Yeah, I wonder if she paid for this or if one of them funded it or where the payoff is going to be. Good point. It's not in that Dugin quote also, but clearly Dugin's strategy on Twitter and all over the place is to promote all the Abrahamic eschatologies. He's trying to incite all sides and keep it all within the Judeo paradigm that the prophecies are real and that they need to be carried out, instigating the conflict, inciting all sides. Like he's sharing Sneeko and going on Sneeko's show. Where tweets where he goes, oh, the Dajjal is here. Every day he's constantly promoting the rhetoric of the America and the West is antichrist, satanic, demonic.
Now tell me that doesn't sound like a weather report for the last 10 years. Let me say that again. Russia should encourage all kinds of separatism, ethnic, social, and racial conflicts, and support isolationist tendencies in U.S. politics, those circles that believe the U.S. should confine itself to domestic problems. That is the story of what is happening with many of our podcasters on the...
Good. I like that, Amalek. Thank you. Dugin is a hyperstition accelerationist. Dude. On point, Amalek.
Right. In the last 2 years. That's it. That's the strategy. Now, I'm not saying you can't come to that on with your own your own ideas and say, I didn't have anything to do with, but did you make that decision? Did you come to that? Or is this part of the propaganda? What makes Dugin so frightening is the really terrifying theology underneath, because it's even more strange. Dugin preaches that Russia is the katekon. Tekekon, I think is how you say it in Russian. It is the force prophesied to hold back the Antichrist, and that history is bending towards the final battle between a satanic West and a holy alliance of Orthodox Russia and the Muslim world. So, let me just say this clearly. It's going to take us a while.
It literally just aligns perfectly, coincides with what the Kabbalist tradition is of Gog and Magog and the Muslims and the Persians teaming up against Edom in the West.
For all of this is so important. Please, please stay with me. The Tetekon, he believes is Russia. And Russia is the force that he says is prophesied to hold back the Antichrist. That the Antichrist is coming in the satanic West. And
I'm pretty sure the Russian think tank that Jay Dyer worked for also promoted this idea, and this idea of like a Russia world.
It will be held back by a holy alliance of Orthodox Mother Russia and the Muslim world. Okay, so this czarist form of Christianity is very similar to Islamism in its dedication to unifying the Muslim world, the Ummah, under a caliphate. This czarist theology needs the caliphate. Katekon is identified with the Roman Empire, the Holy Roman Empire, the Church, the Holy Spirit, or a Christian figure, and this is the way he uses it, a Christian monarch, okay?
He's always inciting Muslims to like rise up and fight the Dajjal, the Antichrist West, that their Mahdi is coming and Jesus, they love Jesus and Christians love Jesus.
According to Nazi philosopher, we got to go back to the Nazis on this philosophy, Carl Schmitt, Katekon represents any strong political authority or empire that maintains order and prevents total chaos and anarchy. It delays the end of the world by holding back apocalyptic disorder, making normal history and politics possible. So he's saying that Russia is that source that is going to hold back the West. Russia's czarist Christianity sees Islamism as more than an ally of convenience against a common enemy, but as the permanent partner in a joint holy war against the West. Dugin is suggesting that the final battle, the apocalypse...
Remember the movie? Remember the propaganda movie Russia put out where it was a prayer showing all the military soldiers, the Christian, the Muslim, they're praying the rosary, they're doing their Muslim prayers, they're reading the Bible verses, all of Russia, all the Abrahamic faiths, praying to their God in their holy war against the Satanic West.
I know this sounds crazy, but please, it doesn't matter if you believe it. He believes it, and
perfectly aligning with Gog and Magog. It even has we have a clip of Dugin, right, Conspiracy Truther, where he says the end times prophecy of the Russian Orthodox Church is that there's going to be some final war with them in Israel.
This is what he is spreading. This is what this conference is about. Okay, this battle will feature a Zionist and Western coalition led by, get this, a Jewish Antichrist facing off against a coalition consisting of the Muslim world led by the Mahdi, the Masonic or the Messianic figure for Islam, and Christians led by a mysterious figure or entity called the Katekon that is prophesized to resist the Antichrist. Dugin believes Russia is that mysterious figure along with the Mahdi. Now, this is an operation to get you and your faith and your country.
Thank you.
And it is $10 Henry Novak, killed and called racist by a foreign tribe. Tucker, the murder that exposed a godless system replacing Christianity.
They're saying it's not enough. Jesus didn't save the guy from being stabbed and killed. Is that what Tucker said? Of course. Anything that happens, they try to spin in Jesus is the answer. We need more Jesus. I didn't know Tucker had said that.
Genius operation. And the payload doesn't arrive in an enemy uniform. It arrives waving our flag. It quotes our scripture. It hates the same thing you hate and are passionate about. Dugin said it himself. The delivery vehicle is the American right. You are the target. And not because you're foolish, but because you're faithful. Because you carry real wounds. You worry about our families, our churches, our country's soul, the evil that has become our culture. And a real wound is the easiest place on earth to slip in poison and call it medicine. So I'm not going to stand here and point at those people over there who got fooled, because that would be the single most propagandized thing I could do. I'm going to tell you the truth. The people running this game are praying that I don't figure out, or perhaps I'm not willing to admit. This system was built to fool people first like me. People like me in my job. It's meant to fool them because it's meant to move through trusted voices, popular podcasters, friends, sincere believers. People who will believe this are sincere in their faith.
I always say that.
They are sincere in their love of country. But they will hear the message that Dugin is giving and they'll say, because he is right on his analysis on what is happening to the West. It is evil. It's his solution that you must run from.
And he blames Baal. He says the West is Baal and Satanic. It's Yahweh. It's Judeo-Christian Yahweh. But see, Russia worships Yahweh too. And the Muslims also worship the God of Abraham. So they scapegoat and keep it all within the Judeo matrix.
Now, there are going to be people that are fooled. Surely they have no idea in the current that they're swimming in because they haven't done their homework. Or maybe they just, I don't want to judge. And then there are those who will knowingly be a part of this because they...
Yeah, Tucker basically blamed atheism instead of anti-white racism. Good point, Valhalla or bust. Okay, cool. The Dugan clip talking about war with Israel.
The solution is right. Destroy the American church, destroy the American culture, and destroy the American government. And throw in line with the Islamists. Because they want a purified world too. The line between being wrong and being used is real. And it's not for me to read anyone's heart, but I can read the pattern.
Okay, this is just too much pontificating. We get it. Andrew Tate in Russia.
When you type, fuck America, fuck the West, it's finished. Any man who refuses to leave is a coward. It's a shithole. Get out. There's nothing good about it. There's nothing good about it. I did the right thing. I ran away.
Missing the kitty cam, stirnrunzelndes Gesicht.
Kitty's not in here. Kitty's with the girls. I'm chop liver to the kitty now. I brought her home. I feed her. I do everything for her, and then I'm chop liver. She only wants to be with the girls.
I can't change the world. What am I going to do, sit on Twitter all day? Oh, conservative values. What the fuck? Who can't get banned? 12-hour shadow ban? It's bullshit. It's over. The people who control all the information people see. Google, the people who control what people see. When you type in Donald Trump.
Okay, we got the point. He said F the West. That's the point. Okay, here's the Dugan.
That's right. So it is a crime.
I don't know if I can handle 8 minutes of Dugan right now, but
what is important that this line, eschatological line, divides not religions between themselves, but inside of three religions there are two contradictory eschatological positions. Only two in Islam, represented by Sheikh Imran Hussein, and by, I have spoken some days ago with President of Iran, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, personally, and he confirmed absolutely eschatological vision. The only difference in the vision of Imran Hussein, Ahmadinejad, the role of Mahdi played in this situation, because Imran Hussein stresses the point of the return of the Jesus, and the Iranian stress the point of return of Mahdi. That is difference. But geopolitically speaking, that is absolute convergency between Iranian eschatology and eschatology expressed by Sheikh Imran Hussein. There is the same difference, the dividing line in Christianity, Western and Eastern, and there is the same line, more deeper maybe and not so obvious, inside of Judaism. One part of Judaism that is Zionist, Pax Judaica, and the other that we could presume to be different. So I would like to thank you for your experience.
Isn't it crazy? All the Abrahamic religions, they're all waiting for an Antichrist to come and then the Messiah to come and destroy them. All three. He's very hard to listen to. We missed the part where he says the Orthodox priest told him that there's going to be an end times war against Israel.
Great war against Israel.
There it is.
That all concerns only Orthodox, Eastern Christian tradition. And the last thing, that was the Great War against Israel and the reconquest of Constantinople. So there are not Muslims mentioned expressly, but that rebirth of Christendom in Russia, reconquest of Hagia Sophia in Constantinople, and the war against Pax Judaica. And in all these predictions, the rule of the international Jewry was recognized as the sign of the end of the time.
See, they all need the Jews to rule the world for their end times to happen. He's right about that. All right. Thank you for that, conspiracy truther. A Russian spokeswoman compares Western support for Ukraine to Epstein logic. Let's see
It's
this.
the new norm to kill those who... Do you know what's the most terrifying about the hushing up of these terrorist attacks? They're not just being hushed up. After all, it's impossible to conceal information in the modern world. The world knows what happened in Starbelsk, one way or another, from you, from other journalists. This is a situation where Zelensky's sponsors, who supply him with weapons and money from the West, are accustoming the global community to the idea that this is somewhat normal. They're corrupting humanity with the idea that it's the new norm to kill those who aren't part of their community. This is Epstein's logic. This is absolute immorality.
Epstein logic? Hold on. You guys invaded Ukraine. You guys are bombing Ukraine. You guys are killing Ukrainians because you invaded Ukraine. And now you're complaining that, like, we arm them and they fight back and then some Russians die and we're the evil Epstein ones thinking that Russian lives don't matter or something? Like, talk about blame shifting. Blaming the victim.
This isn't just a violation of the law. You said it was a war crime. It's worse than that. This is the next stage.
Yeah, does Russia value Ukrainian lives?
It's not just war crimes, it's immorality. Do you understand? It's not when a person or a country or a regime violates some rights or laws, but at the same time understands that they're doing something wrong. This is the moment when they break the law, destroy the law, and believe that this is exactly how it should be done.
She's just saying a whole lot of nothing.
Israeli government for what they've done and it's I want people to know or hear from you that you really are not an anti-Semite. That you are not a person who has anything against Jews. And when you and others like Thomas Massey or Tucker Carlson or Cenk Uygur or Anna Kasparian, who you just interviewed, when they say we are angry at the Israeli government for what they've done and for their influence on our government and for controlling our money and our blood and our treasure. You're not saying that as an anti-Jewish position. You're just criticizing a foreign policy of a country.
Yeah, and forget whatever country it is. The mass murder of children is satanic, so I'm anti-satanic. And that telling me that I have to support that as a Christian, telling me that I have to be okay with this, or else the punishment on the other side is we're going to smear you, is completely and utterly unacceptable. It is now falling upon deaf ears. So it's not something it's not even a smear that needs to be, that we need to concern ourselves with anymore, because they've just smeared too many people now. And it's childish, it's immoral. And I think it's principally it's proven that it's failed because it's principally untrue.
It's satanic. She's anti-satanic. Like, they're doing all of this in the name of Yahweh and Christianity and Jesus, the people doing it. And they would just say October 7th, Hamas are satanic. Hamas killed Israelis, so they're satanic. And instead, everybody's just pointing the finger, calling each other satanic. They all worship Yahweh. Everybody's scapegoating just the boogeyman in the story. But this is the RT line. You want to get boosted by RT? Peddle some conspiracy slop and keep it kosher. Promote the Abrahamic religions and call America satanic and demonic.
But I do have a lot of uncomfort about America's relationship with Israel.
Like, here's RT boosting this.
The Israeli political leaders. That's what I mean. I believe that group it just feels like a satanic regime. It feels like they just want to cause pain. They just, these.
I wish, if they all met Yahweh's satanic, that's one thing. But when you say it's satanic and then say, well, and being a true believer of Yahweh is the solution, it's never getting to the root of the issue of actually what's inspiring what Israel does. Israel is inspired and motivated by Yahweh, not Satan. They view America as Satan. They view Hamas as Satan. They view Iran as Amalek and Persia and Satan.
They don't even know where all the bodies from Gaza are, and they're already moved on to other places.
Just call it evil.
Attacking, and that America's associated now with their attacks. And I believe that will come here one day. I don't believe that the Israeli leaders, that they have any intention to stop that. I don't see that they have any care for the American people. It doesn't seem like that. I've never heard that spoken. And I believe that if we don't speak up now,
dude, we need to get the message of Edom prophecies. If he's worried about Americans being harmed, he needs to hear about these Edom rabbis.
Israeli leaders, that they have any intention to stop that. I don't see that they have any care for.
Dude, he's got the hat. I wish I had my hat. I'd do my hair and the glasses and the hat, just like Theo. Can't do the bit.
For the American people, it doesn't seem like that. I've never heard that spoken.
Snapback hair in front.
We don't speak up now, that our children won't have the chance to speak up, either by law or by worse. And that may sound crazy to some people, and that's fine.
We should call it Yahwehic. If it's the Jews like trying to conquer the promised land from the idol worshipers, like that's Yahweh. That's all Yahweh. Blaming Satan for that. Wasn't Satan that promised the land to the Jews and said, go genocide and ethnically cleanse and take the women and kill the babies and the livestock? That was all Yahweh. Yahweh just gets a pass for everything and blames his frontman adversary.
And if it does sound crazy to you and you think I'm crazy on that point of view, that's okay. But I do have a lot of uncomfort.
Okay, Satanic. Here's Clayton Morris from Redacted, another Russia sphere dude, always doing Russia propaganda. He says we have a deeply demonic and satanic organization that runs Washington. No, we have a deeply Judeo-Christian. Why do all the Russia people get this wrong? Why do they all obfuscate from what it really is?
Come and go. It doesn't matter who's.
If you saw it, I went over.
So this is on RT Rick Sanchez show, again calling our government demonic and satanic.
If you saw it, I went over to.
And not just our government, all of us by extension.
Belarus and talked to a dictator, a real dictator, the guy who runs Belarus, Lukashenko. You know what? He's no more a dictator than we have a dictatorship in our country. And hear me out here. I got to thinking about this while I was talking to him. Interesting guy, by the way, fascinating guy, actually a nice guy. And I was thinking, well, if the definition of a dictator is somebody who's been in office in 30 years, then we're not a dictatorship by that measure, simply because we change our leader every 4 years.
But Putin's getting close. Putin's at 27 years.
For the last 35 years, then hell, man, we have a dictatorship in our country.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. And it's run by these deep state globalists because they know that these 4-year terms, these 6-year terms, they come and go. It doesn't matter who's the face of Congress. It doesn't matter at all when you have this deeply demonic and satanic organization that runs Washington, D.C. At the heart of it. Look at the CIA. Look at these.
See, all of this aligns perfectly with the rabbi Kabbalists that America is satanic and the Russian Orthodox Church, that they're fighting off the satanic West in some eschatological story. All Judeo-controlled ops paradigm.
Other groups, the nearly 20 intelligence agencies and so forth. The U.S. Space Force now has an intelligence agency. What? So we just keep expanding this deep state. They know they're going to be there. It's permanent Washington. It's a permanent dictatorship. Nothing changes. So I love all this back and forth right now in the United States. People are like, that's it. I'm done. I'm done. I'm not voting for Republicans anymore. I'm going to vote Democrat. Great. So then you're going to hop over to the other side of the Uniparty, and now you're going to vote for them. They're going to do the exact same thing. You remember, of course, during the State of the Union address, as Colonel McGregor likes to point out, all of them cheered, what was happening, of course, with Iran, right? All of them cheered. Yeah. Democrats and Republicans, they all clapped like seals. So they're all in lockstep on the expansion of the military-industrial complex and this massive boondoggle of war. They love it. Remember when Democrats used to be like the peace party? That's gone. So they're all one big uniparty. It is one big dictatorship.
Putin, though, not a dictator, of course. Of course not. Look, we got Tucker Carlson. Oh, Epstein, it's all satanic and witchcraft and...
Minors, of course. Was there some kind of weird religious practice that we would describe as witchcraft? Oh, yeah. But the bigger question is, like, what was this? It's clearly an informal governance body over what the rest of us consider the authority.
It's always witchcraft. It's, here. Oh, here's the one of Candace. Never played chess, but thinks she's a chess master.
The game the feds are playing, the military.
She's like, she's a Russian chess master. Doesn't know how to play chess, but the Russia thinks she's like a chess master.
So look, I'm going to be honest. I've never played chess before, but I do feel like I am a little bit of a chess master because I know the game the feds are playing, the military is playing. It's basically a psychological operation right now.
She has common sense. She has vibes and feels and visions and dreams. Look, here's Jake Shields on RT calling America demonic and saying Christianity is not a problem. It's only Zionism and demonic West.
Christianity is people by it. Yeah, no, they feel demonic. You know, this feels like I was never religious, but I'm becoming religious because it feels like there's a spiritual battle going on and these people are evil. And I don't think Christianity is evil by any means, but I think they're taking that and they're using it for evil. It's kind of like, you know, how like ISIS or Al-Qaeda.
See, true Christianity, true Tradcat Russian Christianity is the answer to the satanic, demonic, ball-worshipping West. Jesus, real Jesus. Nothing wrong with that.
Or an offshoot where they become evil and distorts religion. I think that's what Trump's doing. And it's
distorts religion. It's only the religion's been distorted. It wasn't Jew Messiah worship from the get-go. Oh, we're in a spiritual battle. It's so demonic and ball bank accounts and beef jerky. Oh, our government's so satanic and demonic and not real Christians and not real Jews.
But I'm becoming religious because it feels like there's a spiritual battle going on and these people are evil. And I don't think Christianity is evil by any means, but I think they're taking that and they're using it for evil. It's kind of like, you know, how like ISIS or Al-Qaeda, they're an offshoot where they become evil and distorts religion. I think that's what Trump's doing. And it's destroying the whole country. These people are lunatics. And like you were saying earlier, I think he only puts yes men around him. You have to stroke his ego. If anyone says like, hey, Trump, maybe that's not a good idea, he'll fire him. I don't think he doesn't even go on Twitter. He only posts on True Socials. Yeah. No.
Satanic, demonic, over and over and over again. Look, RT says America is as bad as Sodom and Gomorrah, and Christ is going to correct it soon. The Messiah is going to come and crush Edom in the West.
Human beings are. Are you hopeful for the country, since you seem to pay attention to the whole country, not just? Yes and no. If you, by hopeful, you mean in the sense that human beings are going to correct this, you know, right this ship, I think it's beyond human correction at this stage. It's so bad, especially when you look at the corruption in the higher levels of government and that type of thing. But I am also hopeful that Christ, you know, if you look at the history of how God deals with human beings, he'll let us be evil only for so long and then he gives us a spanking. So I think that that Christ is going to correct it probably fairly soon. I mean, who knows when that is, but I think we're getting to the point where we're, you know, especially in a post-Christian era, we're almost as bad as Sodom and Gomorrah. I mean, I tell people, look, at Sodom and Gomorrah, at least they weren't trying to marry each other, you know.
No, it's true.
Yeah, and so, so I think that we've gotten to the point.
See, Yahweh's judgment, Moshiach's judgment on Edom in America. That's what RT's pushing, and Tucker.
That God is going to punish us, but in a way that a good father corrects his son when he's doing bad things, right?
Oh, we deserve it. We deserve to be crushed by God. It sounds like Mizrahi. We got the Russian ortho bros sitting down with their priests saying, yeah, prophecies say America got to be destroyed. We don't got to save America in the West. All that matters is the church. Empires fall, right? RT pushed all the slop about the ball bank account and the beef jerky. RT pushed Candace back in February. We're ruled by satanic pedophiles who work for Israel. Everyone needs to digest that fact now. This is the synagogue of Satan we're up against. All from the biblical E-Crusader perspective. 14,000 likes for that. I could go on and on and on. My timeline is just chock full of it. And then people be like, Adam's paranoid about Russia. Why does Adam hate Russia so much? Adam really loves Ukraine, doesn't he? That Jew Zelensky in Ukraine. Like, how about this? Where am I wrong about this? The bullshit narratives that RT pushes incessantly. Like the beef jerky is human meat conspiracies from this, all the demon shit, all the Charlie Kirk stuff, the demon shit, the Netanyahu was secretly dead in AI, the Trump's turning on Netanyahu and betraying him, all pushed by these people. Interestingly enough, they're also the ones that pushed that Trump was going to save us from World War III and secretly was 4D chessing against Israel. Thank you, Anonymous.
If Sodom and Gomorrah were real, they were probably the most moral, virtuous places and smelled the Jews coming a mile away only to be inverted in their book of lies.
Safe bet. Safe bet if it were real. All right, I'm looking for this narrative. Who else said the same thing? Ben Swan, Alex Jones on RT a decade ago pushing multipolar talking points. I'm looking for the one of, look at this. Nick says America is going to be humbled because of the evil people. The world is in God's hands.
For office, I'm like, I started looking at trying to fix the problems. And I'm like, I don't even know what could be done.
This like we're evil sinners and God's got to punish us type of rhetoric. It's kosher.
I don't think there's anything that can be done. I think that the country needs a reckoning is what has to happen. The country is wicked and decadent and arrogant. And what you see throughout the Bible, ironically in the context of Israel, is that when the people become proud and when they don't listen to God, God punishes them. God humbles them. And I don't know that it necessarily works exactly the same.
Oh, it sounds like the Jews like, oh, Edom, the West's got to be punished. Vengeance for the persecution over the years and for destroying the temple. Same exact concept. Oh, America's evil Edom is anti-Semitic and betrayed the Jews. Oh, Hashem should destroy them. Right? Even the opposition to Jews in Israel has that same talking point. Isn't that odd?
Same way, but I think we tend to find that when people become arrogant, there's that saying, pride goes before the fall. They have a habit of inviting and attracting ruin and destruction. And this country has had opportunities, I think, to do the right thing. And people are not stepping up to the plate. People are not doing the right thing. And so we will be humbled. And I think that it's incumbent on the good people to try to do what we can. All we're called to do as Christians and as decent people, it's not that we're supposed to change the outcome or fix America. That's up to God. The world is in God's hands. All any one of us can do is take accountability for ourselves every day, one day at a time, telling the truth, trying to do the right thing, treating each other with charity and compassion and gentleness and mercy. That's all anybody can do. And all anybody can do is try to reflect on their own actions. Am I part of the solution or am I part of the problem? Are we going to be part of the part of this generation that will inherit this fallen country and try to put it back together? Or are we going to be destroying it? And unfortunately, a lot of people want to be a part of the problem.
Yeah, I'm going to at least try, it's like, I'm going to at least try. I felt like a calling, maybe from God. You probably felt that, I don't know, God, whatever it is, I felt like I had to speak up. People were trying to talk me out of it when I first started speaking up. I mean,
yeah, Yahweh called on you, Jake, to save you from his chosen people. Totally. Here's Jay Dyer's ortho bro friend with the Russian Orthodox father who says, prophecy says America's going to be destroyed. Sounds like the most craziest fanatical rabbi that wants to destroy the West. And then Dugan wants to destroy the West. And then Russian eschatology says that the West is evil and satanic.
Basically, the corruption of all
this right here, America will be completely destroyed and 90% of its citizens will be killed. There's something similar with Elder Vasilios Kasukalitis on the first page, where he says up there, it will not have life at all. Not here, not there, not at all. It will turn off, whatever that's not a good translation. But from weather phenomena, from diseases, from vengeance of other countries, because they are the cause of evil that happens to humanity, the worst will happen. Why did they not repent? Okay, so.
Yeah, it's all a part of God's plan, Goy.
It doesn't jive with, in my reading, there will be massive destruction. I've heard this multiple times, like we already said, that America is absolutely, as a collective, whole, and as the leadership of America, and all this, we could talk about this for a long time, is responsible the world over for terrible things, exporting immorality, exporting. We talked about this last night, actually, in our live stream about Revelation, about the basically the corruption of all.
We're just the epitome of all evil. All the world's ills are white Americans' fault. Or the Anglos, or the British Empire, right?
Of all humanity through the Babylon, right? Which is America's a kind of Babylon, kind of Rome. And
Babylon, Rome. Babylon in Revelation is destroyed. It's representing Rome. Edom is Rome, going to be destroyed in end times. And this is the Christians that think they're not a problem and that they're the solution and based. They're a fifth column. They're a national security threat.
Exporting, trafficking and pornography and all that stuff. This is a huge reason why there's going to be World War III. There's a guy like the most recent flowering of holiness in the church in Greece says that there's three main causes for World War III. And one is the sexual perversity, both in marriage and mainly in marriage among Christians. And then, of course, all the rest that's outside of marriage. The occultism and the sorcery and the magic and all the rest. Yep. And then abortion. Those are the three main causes. I would throw in heresy and distortion of the body of Christ and ecumenism. But in any case, the fact that America has been the great Satan, to take the Ayatollah Khomeini's words. I mean, it's kind of, even coming from an Aryan and a delusional
the great Satan
of Islam. He's right. I mean, America has exported debauchery for decades upon decades upon decades, and the world over says this is the source of so much. So, will there be a price to pay? Absolutely. We have
a price to pay. Will there be a price to pay? Daniel Patrick Harry is a real anti-Western subversive piece of shit, isn't he? Interviewing all these guys.
The spiritual laws are at work because there's no repentance. There's no repentance. Now, if there was massive repentance, like in the days of Nineveh, there would be no destruction. But to say that there will be no life at all, I mean, that is to such an extreme degree. It doesn't jive with what I just said about the monasteries and the people coming back to the faith and all that after the war.
It looks like a rabbi, ugly, gross pube beard, funny robe, funny hat, obsessed with Jewish prophecies and wants to destroy America according to prophecy. Like, where's the difference between that and some crazy rabbi?
This is a prophecy that after the war, there's going to be a rejuvenation, or at least a maintaining of the faith among certain Orthodox, among the monasteries and all the rest. So no life at all at the end of the war. It just seems to be like maybe there's a miscommunication, or maybe there's something wrong, or maybe that's meant to bring about repentance and it won't happen. I don't know.
Orthobro says America will be destroyed. Isn't that nice? I think there's even more too. Yeah. America will fall. It makes sense. Look at that.
From the elders and saints that I've read, the consensus from the elders and saints that I've read is that America is going to be really troubled by economic collapse, internal strife, and geological or climatic events, more so than a direct global war confrontation on American soil. It's more that America is going to collapse due to itself. And
behind that, besides the prophetic literature, there's just a basic teaching of the spiritual laws. If you export sin and you become the Babylon of the modern world, Babylon fell, Rome fell, America will fall. The empires fall, and when they fall, it's very, very problematic. It's very but there will also be, in addition to that, they'll pay the spiritual price for their iniquity for so many years, exporting iniquity all throughout the world. It makes sense on a basic level. Now, what it will be is in the realm of some speculation, but it makes sense that there'll be difficult days for America.
Right. See what I'm saying, dude? There's no daylight between them and the Kabbalah rabbis. Like, here's another ortho bro that was on Patrick Harry, Church of the Eternal Logos, who I smashed in the debate, and all he tried to do was fall back on their bullshit precept argument over and over again the whole time, when the debate was not even supposed to be about that at all. Total bad faith. and then started roid raging. Dude, look at this guy. He wears a shirt that's 2 sizes too small, roided up right after he was at the gym, and then
he said you got to quit worrying about saving the empire.
It's crazy how these Christian wizards are so upset about occultism. They dress like Crowley.
Yeah, they dress like Pharisees. Dude, how many icons you got, bro? Do you prostrate yourself to Rabbi Jesus? Get on your knees and bow down like a good goy, trembling in fear, licking the dust of your Jewish king's feet? Do you do your temple liturgy?
The West.
Listen to what he says. That he goes, oh, my Orthodox church father says, we don't got to save the West. It's got to fall. All that matters is the church and the Church of Russia. Listen.
He said, you got to quit worrying about saving the empire, saving the West, saving America. He's like, empires come and go, and the church has been here throughout time.
Right.
And so don't be so concerned with how to politically save this country, because it's not.
So people tell us, Adam, you're causing so much division and infighting, and religion is so divisive. Let's just not fight over religion, and once we win and save the West, then we'll work it out. Meanwhile, the people they want us to ally with, they're like, who cares about the West? The West is evil. It deserves God's wrath. We're not America first anyway. We're Jesus first. We're Catholic first. We're Orthodox first. These people. And talk about who's being divisive. Christianity is the divisive force. They're the ones that say, you got to say Christ is king. You got to bow down. Every knee will bow and you will say Christ is king, or you're our antichrist, demonic, satanic enemy. That's the divisive. It's not us saying you got to bow down and believe in Jewish covenants. It's them.
He said, you got to quit worrying about saving the empire, saving the West, saving America. He's like,
and who told him this was, he says, his Russian Orthodox bodybuilding church father.
He said, you got to quit worrying about saving the empire, saving the West, saving America. He's like, empires come and go, and the church has been here throughout time.
Right.
And so don't be so concerned with how to politically save this country, because
don't save your countries. Go away.
He said, you got to quit worrying about.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, America should fall and be destroyed for being sinful and satanic.
The consensus from.
Look at this. RT. Satan hands USA to Baal. With this
one is Baal.
This dude who was just boosted on Sean Ryan and on Tucker. Has he been on Rogan yet?
The generals. Under Satan, there's 5 demons. They're called by different names like the council, the generals, but their job is to execute the plans of Satan that he wants done in this life. The first one is Baal, who is the spirit of fornication, the spirit of impurity. In the United States, when they shot down the anti-fornication laws, plus you have all the problems with pornography and that type of thing, is freedom of expression and all that. Once they allowed that, they ceded the territory to Baal. Under Satan,
anybody that has pornography is are Baal worshipers. People that don't believe in Baal are just were biologically evolved to desire sex, be attracted to naked bodies of the opposite sex. That means you're secretly a Satan worshiper. RT's like, put it up. Satanic West, put it up. Look, RT promoting Ken O'Keefe over in Iran. What does he say? America's boss is Satan. And he's praying for Jesus to fight in the end times war when Jesus comes down in the cloud with the angels. That's what he says he's praying for.
The nature of the Jew is not to fight you fair and square, face to face. They're cowards, first off. They're cowards. What they do is they infiltrate. They infiltrate, they get inside, and then they subvert. So, while the American people do not support this war, they have not done enough to take control of their treasonous government. So the Jews are now running the United States of America and have run it since 1913 with the creation of the Federal Reserve Bank. And it's gotten progressively worse year by year by year, to the point now that we facilitate and finance mass killing of children. So, why do the Americans not? They're not in control of the nation, and they've invited the.
I love. Hold on. All the focus is on America. They're always scapegoating America and white people or white settler colonialism. Never Judaism and Yahweh. He'll say, RT will say, Zionism's not Judaism. Or Ken O'Keefe will say, they're not Jews. They're not Jews and they don't believe the Torah. That's the problem. Completely deflecting away from what actually is at the root of this.
So, why do the Americans not? They're not in control of the nation, and they've invited the enemy in their bed, and now their fate is intertwined with the fate of the Jewish state of Israel, which means America is going to be destroyed.
See? RT, America's satanic and gonna be destroyed. Praying for Jesus to come down in the clouds.
I wish they knew that sufficiently, because we could fix the problem. But the enemy is well inside the gate of America, and their boss is Satan. So this is where we're going.
Satan. Their boss is Satan. Every time. It's Yahweh. They believe in the God of the Bible, which is Yahweh. Satan is their enemy. Burning ball statues or placing all the blame on Satan is completely misdirection.
America, and it could be the end of the world as we know it. And I think the only entity that would be happy would be Satan, because he wants to defile everything beautiful and pure that God gave us and created for us.
I'd like to find the clip I posted of him talking about praying for Jesus to fight in the end times war with Jesus in the clouds and the angels. But I don't know how I'll find that. Maybe if I search angels. Thank you, Thought and Conduct.
$5. I'm embarrassed. I once thought the elites were alien/demonic/satanic, as Alex Jones, David Icke, Tex, and Jim Mars claimed. They're not. They're just the same hackable neural patterns. Power-hungry primates running the oldest psyop for control.
Yep. David Icke's another one I don't mention enough when I talk about the demons are controlling thing. He's the one he was like the OG of pushing the demons are behind everything. Citing all the religious books too as his justification that they're all secretly real. Let's see, if I search angels, am I going to find the video? Yep, here it is. Sorry, but this is the type of magical thinking that is going to lead us to disaster.
The Muslims believe in correct understanding that Jesus is king and that he will be returning. I concur. Jesus will be returning on the wings of angels in Syria, which is the seat of Christianity and where it was actually born. He's coming back on the wings of angels. I have prayed to God as recently as today that I wish to be, if I may be so blessed, to fight alongside Jesus when he returns, because we are in end times right now. We literally are in end times. The Muslims.
See, promoting the end times prophecies is circling the wagons and participating in the charade, in the prophecy delusion. All right, are we clear? Look at this. This is what Russia puts out. 29,000 likes. Look, Russian Thor military destroying the global homo satanic Baal West. This is their AI fantasies. All of it is so Jewish based. All right, what else do we got?
Here in Iran, it pales in comparison to all of the West and most nations around the world. This country is not perfect. The Iranians themselves would tell you that.
Yep.
There are things that they could improve on. They're seeking to improve. But listen, I've been here now. The first time I came was 15, 16 years ago. I've been here now 5 times. I've traveled this country. I've lectured at universities here. I've done multitudes of interviews. I've met people all across the spectrum. And all I see is just, I wish my country had the same kind of humanity. Every single Iranian tells me, we don't hate the Americans. We actually like the Americans, but we hate your government. Every single Iranian makes a point of saying that to me. And this is a very old civilization that Donald Trump has said he's looking forward to exterminate.
He's a flat earther too. Does he call him satanic in this? Okay, we get the point. Oh, speaking of face tattoos, let's see this Christian. Did Jesus drop the charges?
If you're wondering what this rope-looking object in my hand is in each one of my videos, it is a hand-knotted prayer rope made in Serbia, blessed by the fathers at a Serbian Orthodox church. I am an Orthodox Christian, not a pacifist Protestant. I am a military-minded Orthodox Christian, in the peak of my physical prime, and Christ is Lord. Jesus Christ is my King, my Lord, my Savior, my everything. I don't put this cross down for no one. You understand? Christ is King.
Whoa, whoa.
Are you questioning my faith?
You're wondering
you
what
this...
Dude, that is all right, buddy. You can have your Rabbi Jesus. He's all yours. Jeez, this is what I worry about. Some militant ortho bro that decides to hunt me down because I'm a satanic secret Mossad Jew or some shit that everybody spreads online. Dude, another face tattoo Christian. Dude, this guy. I don't even.
I've got faith, dude. What do you have, you little bitch? You want to throw down, bro? Okay. Hey. You want to see what it feels like to talk shit about Christians, dude? I'll kick your heathen ass.
Jesus Christ. Jesus dropped the charges. Dude, militant. I love you. Go into any Orthodox church and do that spiel. Do your Jesus was white, Jesus wasn't Jewish.
The object in my hand is
militant.
It is a hand.
We've read your Orthodox church Bible. It's not militant. Have you seen your priest in your church? They're not militant. Militant Jesus. We saw the militant pastor the other day. Remember, he was in full camos and he had like his AR strapped on him or something. Remember that dude? Rambo Jesus. Yeah. Dude, this guy's based. Adam Green. He's just a Reddit tier fedora tipper. This guy's fucking based. Paper Jesus found that dude. He's probably huge on Instagram. Mr. King AK. Dude, let's see how big he is on Instagram. Hold on.
Hand-knotted prayer rope made in Serbia, blessed by the
Serbia
fathers at a Serbian Orthodox church. I am an Orthodox Christian, not a
Orthodox
pacifist Protestant. I am
none of
a
this bitch dispensationalist bullshit.
In the peak of my physical prime, and Christ is Lord. Jesus
I'm ready
Christ
for a total
is
crusades.
My King, my Lord, my Savior.
52,000 followers. I better settle down with this guy, dude. I might be in some. Hold on. I might be in some trouble. Wealth creator. Alliance Rewards Club Wealth Pilot. Whoa. He's got a tat on the side of his head that says violent. Dude, I'm just going to let this guy be, I think. Better watch my mouth. This dude looks scary. Dude, this is how we win. Is that a rune? Whoa. Christian, Orthodox Christian? Wow. Average ortho, bro? Saved by Jesus? Damn. What's the soundbite for that? I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Jesus dropped the charges for sure. Wow. Paper Jesus found another one.
With me for what I did.
Dude, there's so many influencers like this on TikTok and Instagram. Like former prison gangbanger, drug addict, former gay.
I'm not waiting to the end of my life to see if God is going to say, well done, good and faithful servant. I know that every day when I lay down in my bed, either the Father or the enemy looks at me and says, well done, my good and faithful servant. Well done today. One of them every day is pleased with me for what I did with my time.
Well done, Goy Slave.
For what I did with my hands, for where I went with my feet, for what I listened to with my ears, what I watched with my eyes. One of them every single day is proud of me. Which one is it? That revelation, that understanding changed my attitude towards, I just didn't have time. I couldn't get to it. Maybe later. Every day, somebody says, well done.
Okay, I can't handle anymore. Sorry. This is the look I want to give him right here.
Right.
Mr. Biggersworth.
Right.
Good one, Enrico.
Right.
I think there's another one too. I saw another one he did.
Right.
Okay, it was the same one. Oh, played that one. Where we at on time? Almost 2 hours. Oh, we forgot a couple more. The Washington exorcist that we played the clip of and analyzed the other day got stripped of his role as an exorcist after publicly suggesting that many UFO sightings are actually demonic activity. Got fired.
You think this is going to get more kind of...
They're covering up the demon side. They're covering up the demons. The church is corrupted by the demons now. Is that going to be the narrative?
You think this is going to get more kind of concrete or more conclusive, or will it continue to be, here it is, make of it what you wish? You think this is going to get more kind of...
Prophet Elvis warned us about the UFO and alien deception prophecy. Prophet Elvis, that looks good. We'll check out Prophet Elvis. That could be some content. Inside the don't know what that was. Okay, let's do Sneako's analysis on, hold on, no.
These are both Semitic people, okay?
Oh, right. As if Beardson's analysis of Sneako doesn't also completely apply to Christianity. Watch this.
Muslims are just Jews, though. Like, this is the real red pill. I'm gonna drop the real red pill on you guys right now, okay? Muslims and Jews are both Semitic people, okay? They are both Semites.
Hey, guess what? All the first Christians also Semites, Beardson. You're right about the Muslims, but hey, look in the mirror when you say all this.
They have a lot in common, actually. You want to know why?
Yeah, so do you and Jews, like the Old Testament, like belief in messianic prophecies, like the God of Israel.
Why Jews and Muslims fight all the time is because they're too similar to one another, if anything.
Why do Christians and Jews fight all the time? Because they're fighting over who the Messiah is, and one's a schismatic, heretical sect of Judaism spinoff. They're so close to each other, fighting over the right way to Jew and the Jewish covenants and who the Jewish Messiah is. I love how he can say all this correctly and see this for Islam, but then can't look in the mirror. He's Catholic and realize you're also describing Christianity.
They're too similar to one another. Listen to like a Muslim debate and a Jewish debate. You're going to be like, Same thing. Same fucking thing. Like except for one has a little bit more of an ethnic accent. Okay. They behave.
Okay, when Christians and Jews debate, they're debating all the same scriptures that they both view as authoritative and prophetic about the Messiah. Disagreements on fulfillment of those prophecies, but still debating the same religion internally.
Behave the same. They act the same. Dude, you know what happens when Muslims get over here too? They start acting like Jews. They start running and moving like Jews. I'm telling you. I'm sorry. I'm not even trying to be like racist. It's just that Jews are just more successful at it, really. And I think that's where a lot of the resentment from Muslims comes from. You know, it's like
he's so close but so far. No reflection, self-reflection.
Trying to do the same shit, but they don't got the motion like Jews do. You know.
And then instead they run around and say there's no such thing as Judeo-Christian.
It's just, I'm speaking facts here. All right? I'm speaking facts here.
Me too. Me too. All right. Yeah, here's the Orthodox Christian Archdiocese of North America explains how what he calls internet fundamentalism, Jay Dyer, Andrew Wilson, Brother Nathaniel, is becoming a growing new heresy. Uh-oh. Ortho Bros called out. Ortho Bro E-Crusaders put on notice by the real Christians in charge.
Your Eminence, in your November address, you used striking language, calling internet fundamentalism a new heresy. Can you unpack what specifically...
All the E-Crusaders just got called heretics, like you've always been.
...concerns you about how orthodoxy is being represented online, and what you'd say to a young American who's been catechized primarily through YouTube.
Yes, Jonathan. Let us say first, fundamentalism is not a bad word. To be fundamentalist, according to the language, it means to come back to the origins. To come back to your root is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. But fundamentalism, as it is used today, it means...
Christianity is, in that case, fundamentally, Christianity is Jewish. The root, Christianity is the wild branch grafted in, but the Jews in their covenant is the root and the natural branches. So, he's right. Fundamentally, Christianity is Jewish at the fundamental level.
As it is used today, it means rigidity, it means strict people, closed-mind people. The danger of fundamentalism movement now is maybe they don't know.
You get fundamentalists like Jay Dyer thinking that evolution is fake and Genesis is real and fallen angels are real and Noah's Ark is real. And that lions used to be vegan before the fall. That's fundamentalism.
What they are doing. Many tell the Holy Spirit, be away and get aside of us. We know everything you taught us in the past, and we have all the truth. And then we don't need you more. In depth, this is the meaning of fundamentalism. Because when I am fundamentalist man, I can't differentiate.
Who listens to these bores? Look at this guy dressed up like a frickin' Bene Gesserit in this stupid robe and hat. And rabbi beard. Giant icon necklace.
Between what is essence.
Is this one of these militant ortho bros that guy was LARPing on?
What is expression of this essence? What is the holy?
Yeah, this guy's obviously super based and red-pilled and pro-white and anti-Semitic, obviously. Obviously, he's down with all that.
And what is different local traditions with small...
At least he's dressed like a Pharisee from Passion of the Christ.
Not big T. This is the danger of fundamentalism.
Oh, I found one more too. General Flynn pushing the Russian active measures. Always everything is satanic, demonic.
Yeah, I don't care about getting rid. It'll save the kids too, but it's about removing this evil satanic group. We want them. We don't. I'm telling you, I know every American I talk to says we would eat, dog food for 10 years to remove these
Break
Satanists.
the system. Yeah, break the system apart. Break it apart. When the political masters that we have, from the White House over to the Congress, when they are controlled by a demonic, satanic cult, which is an intelligence operation to compromise people so they will make decisions that they are being told to make, not on our behalf, but on the behalf of some other, satanic, demonic cult.
Care about.
That's 2 satanic, demonic cults in like 10 seconds. That's the talking point. That's the mantra. What else do we got here? Almost done, almost wrapped up. No donos today. Or I think maybe actually the dono counter was broken and not all of them played, I think. So TTS is screwing up today. I think that's what's going on. But yeah, rough turnout, rough stream, very, very devastating, heartbreaking, depressing. All right, let's hear a little bit of Jones talking about this new merging of the military between America and Israel.
Then
I haven't heard much of the deets. Let's hear Jones rant about it a bit.
If Trump does not come out against Section 224, let's pull that up, of the National Defense Authorization Act 2027, that they're getting ready to pass here in the next few months, that's the main defense budget, $1 trillion plus. If he doesn't do this,
he's done this ultimatum to Trump so many times. If Trump doesn't do this, and he never does it. And then you always get back behind him and do a new red line. Thank you, Anonymous.
Jews get nose jobs. Aliens breeding hybrids. Jews infiltrating societies by pimping their women. Demons possess. Jews enslave. Vampires have no reflection in the mirror. Jews have no self-reflection. It's all just an analogy.
Might be. Sophisticated symbolism, possibly.
Call for that to be pulled out that turns
Thank you,
military,
Anonymous.
our intelligence over to the Israelis, then I am calling for impeachment. It's beyond 25th Amendment because he's got dementia. I'm not saying he has dementia, but that's not the right thing. It's treason. Now, I don't know if Trump knows this is in the legislation. I know Netanyahu says he's talking to Trump and about this joint military weapon development plan, which is this.
Hold on. See Through It All sent me another clip. Looks like he posted it just a few minutes ago for me. Just saw it. Let's hear this. Oh, 6 minutes. I can't handle 6 minutes of Dugans. Ziggers want total white genocide by inciting the third world against the West.
I hate this satanic rule. The West has chosen to be the slaves of the Satan. I am part of the Christian
slaves of Yahweh and his chosen people, dude. Enough of this Satan Baal shit.
I am following strongly and strictly what are our church, our mystical.
Thank you, Deleted by Nina, for the kiddos, new kitty, and the 20 shekel challenge. Thank you, Nina. I don't know why it's not popping up. This is frustrating. Some of the TTSs come up, but not all of them. Oh, maybe the Rumble ones aren't working.
And metaphysical and theological tradition affirms what is Holy Trinity, what is the maiden, the mother of God.
Okay.
And there are all Russian history
thing, because they intended to have Western civilization and Christianity buried, but by taking us to the edge of oblivion, it actually made us realize how precious it was, because you don't know what you've lost until it's gone. Is that what you're saying?
Modernity was absolutely wrong because it has abandoned the Christianity.
See, he says like modernity and secularism and atheism. Atheism is the problem, or Christian Zionism only. All right, my throat Choking on water.
Tradition, the
to wrap it up here in
eternal
a second.
values. That was totally wrong direction of the development of the humanity. And now with conservative revolution on both ends of the humanity in the United States and in Russia, in other places as well, that is...
Thank you, Maxed Out Bear. Yeah, the Rumbles aren't playing on the TTS. I'll have to look into that.
Return to the eternal roots, not to the past. Not to the past. It is return to the eternity. Right. And eternity, the Christ, God, is always fresh. He is always new. He is the immense source of greatest energy. And I think that past...
I can't listen anymore.
No Shia we identify in the modern West in the global
multipolarity and the decline of the West.
Same negative figure, the figure of the Antichrist or Dajjal. So we are united not only on the geopolitical level, but as well on the deeper...
United in the Jewish fairy tale, end times apocalyptic bullshit, okay? Just another Abrahamic instigating agent in the Judeo paradigm. The anti-Russia streams don't do well. It's not popular to call out Russia in the Russia sphere. You get attacked, you don't get any traction. You do the pro-Russia stuff, you do the Christian-controlled op slop that's kosher with the Russia spheres, you can go viral. All right, I can't listen to Jones anymore. And I'm just gonna close down these Dave. I can't bring myself. I don't want to watch anything Dave Rubin. I wanted to watch Dave Rubin get dunked on, I thought, but I can't even bring myself to watch 1 second of it. It's too bad. Let's hear from the AJC.
AI companies have been moving towards alignment.
Dude, the AJC, it's literally every day. Chris Menahan every day has some new Jewish conference full of like powerful clips. They never rest. Maya Ackerman. Let's see what she has to say. They're always scheming and game planning and strategizing. Thank you, Macrometer.
Russia good, America bad. Alexander Dugin news big plan to shut down Rumble rants. Yeshua whip you like money changer.
Sounds legit. I think that's what happened. You're right. Macrometer, thank you.
But where do you see genuine opportunity? How can AI help improve Jewish representation in all these issues?
The really cool thing about AI is that while it can become a great ally for our enemies, if we act early, it can be exactly the opportunity that we need. After missing the boat with social media, AI is now becoming...
Missing the boat with social media? What are you talking about? ADL's been censoring all the big tech platforms for over a decade, at least. 2017, I think, is when they set up their Silicon Valley lab.
The dominant source of information, the main source of information. People trust AI more than anything else. They trust AI more than social media. They turn to chatbots like ChatGPT and Gemini instead of using Google, and young people use these bots instead of Google in very, very, very large numbers. So this is becoming the main source of information, okay? And so when I say this, I still find Jewish people being discouraged. They say, oh, but Wikipedia is already so anti-Semitic and social media is so anti-Semitic. Why bother? The AI just learns from all of this data. So, you know, whatever, not much we can do. But that's not true. Because over the past 2 years, the AI companies have been moving towards alignment. So instead of the algorithms sort of honestly representing what's in the data, we're finding that these chatbots and the text-to-image models are increasingly showing us exactly what the companies want us to see, okay? So it's becoming intentional, which means that instead of trying to control the whole world and trying to somehow manage what's happening in this big blob of Wikipedia and social media, we can go directly to the companies with clear technical and advocacy solutions to further...
Go to the companies with clear technical advocacy solutions. So they're trying to get in from the ground floor on the AI to control all the AI. Explicitly, they're saying that is their agenda.
Which means that instead of trying to control the whole world and trying to somehow manage what's happening in this big blob of Wikipedia and social media, we can go directly to the companies with clear technical and advocacy solutions. For the first time, there's a path to correcting the digital world.
Correcting the digital world by controlling the AI algorithms. But that's not controlling the world, though. AI Greenblatt, yeah.
Thank you, Maya. Yeah.
Wow. Great. But if I say they're doing that, it's an anti-Semitic trope. Amalek says Bibi just initiated a whole program in Israel for this stuff too. I read an article in Haaretz. They always act like, oh, we've never done anything before. We got to start doing something. Like they haven't had a million organizations opposing and flagging and tracing and every anti-Semitic post and every, writing articles and hit pieces on every influencer or, Hasbara, Wikipedia editing programs and all of it. You name it. What's this? Oh, sound effects. All right, that is all we have for today. Appreciate you guys and the support. Like, share, subscribe. You know what to do. Leave a comment below. I love to read your comments, especially on Rumble. Clip the show, share the link, spread the word. Pick up the book if you haven't. Join the Substack for the book club, the private Zoom call book club. We're still going to keep doing that when we're done with the book, too. And you can access all the archives. It's basically turned into like almost a course or a lecture series about the book. Thank you guys for the support and making it possible. Wouldn't be able to do it without you guys. Love you guys. Love the community. All the great work, group effort, all the memes, all the videos, all the clips, all the edits, all the shares, all the ratioing and meme warring and the replies. The info war. We're starting to put a big wrench in their Judeo paradigm and the operation. Changing the conversation. Rasta Jesus it is. We'll go out with Rasta Jesus, you guys. See you tomorrow. And remember, Yeshua was a Rasta. And if his eyes are blue, he's not a Jew. And go to the gym. Eat some steak. And hail the old gods and down with Yahweh.
King Selassie was Jesus in blackface, hiding from Babylon. Roman oppressors never knew he didn't die on the cross. He escaped to Jamaica. On 420, Yeshua smokes the herbal chalice and curses Hitler's birthday. Christ gonna get high in Hyperborea. Yeshua gonna mash down Babylon. Yeshua was a Rasta. His eyes are blue and he's not a Jew. Yeshua was a Rasta. He's as blonde as the Lebanese ash he smokes. Yeshua was a Rasta. His pure iron DNA is the most potent strain the world has ever seen. Christ gonna get high in Hyperborea. Yeshua gonna mash down Babylon. Yeshua was a Rasta. He smokes cross-shaped joints every day. Yeshua was a Rasta. He's not brown like hash, he's white like deity diamond. Was a Rasta. He would smoke hookah on a donkey and teach from the Torah like a true Hyperborean or Rasta man. Christ gonna get high in Hyperborea. Yeshua gonna mash down Babylon. Yeshua was a Rasta. His eyes are blue and he's Yeshua gonna march.